in a cast and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. You gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis round. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck and give it a whirl. Hello and welcome to my world.
What's going on Facebook and YouTube Live? It's been 2 weeks. It's been live. Been a wild couple of weeks. Got a couple updates for you guys, talking about some fishing, talking about some new YouTube videos that I have out there. But first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for joining for another episode of On Another Line Live. Tonight we are going to be talking about, again, some bass that I've caught over the past few days. I went to Shorty's Pay Lake out in Patriot, Ohio. A buddy of mine, Bill Back, has a great thing going out there, Pay Lake. And there's so many great Pay Lakes around the area. But quick update about my boat in just a second. But this episode brought to you by JB's Fish Sauce. Fish can't stay off the sauce. JB'sFishSauce.com. The promo code OALL20 will save you 20% off your entire order. There is a new product coming down the pike. We all know that I'm pretty partial to the pinch of garlic. That's my own signature blend through JB's Fish Sauce here on Another Line. And we have just a spray right now to be available on the website. But very, very soon, as in very, very soon, you're going to see a new product hit their website, and it's going to be the JB's Fish Sauce Jelly in the pinch of garlic scent, and I am pumped, super pumped up about that. Quick update on my boat. Shout out to State Farm, Warren Armstead's office in Ironton, Ohio. The dude's been my agent for many years, since I've been old enough to drive a car, so, I mean, golly, a long time. They got me taken care of. My boat lower unit is on order through Freedom Outdoors in Wheelersburg. It is on order. Should be freighting in any day now. And then it'll be all over but the crying, other than the $6,200 check that I have to write up there. However, good and bad. Good is that it's going to be fixed. Bad news is $6,200. But again, that's what the insurance is for. But I do want to give a shout out to State Farm for being there, and like a good neighbor, right? State Farm is there. So I appreciate you guys out there. If you're looking for some boat insurance, I highly recommend State Farm. They've been very, very good to me. Literally, just asked me to prove what happened. I did, sent some pictures, sent a quote. They direct deposited the money directly to my account that I have set up for electronic transfer for my bills to them. So they sent out the payment on Saturday, hit my account today. Can't ask for any better than that. So those of you guys that have been following along with my channel over the past couple days, past couple weeks, have seen a couple episodes. One, myself, Misty, my dad, and one of his best friends, John Stigler, went out to Shorty's Pay Lake in Patriot, Ohio, and done a little bit of catfishing. So I've always been a huge bass fisherman. I love bass fishing. It's what I do. It's my lifeblood. It's my passion. However, I don't care what kind of fish it is, guys. I like to catch them. If it's a slow day out there walleye fishing, I'll catch a freshwater drum and love it. I don't care. They're one of the hardest fighting fish on the planet. But we went out and tried to do some fishing and had a great time. Normally what I do as a cat fisherman is I spend a couple days going out and catching bait, making sure I have all the bait that I want to use, all the best bait that I think the bluegill or that catfish are going to eat, like bluegill and goldfish and things that you can buy at bait stores and things. We didn't do that. I went out and caught one chub minnow at my buddy's house in a creek with a Berkeley power worm. Cast it out, caught about a 5-inch chub minnow, creek chub. By the time I got it back to my house, everything was good, lively. Everything's good. Bought some bluegills and stuff out there. The creek chub had died before I got to the lake. Cut the head off from it, threw it out on Misty's rod, and I'm telling you, if you have watched the video, I hope you guys laughed as hard as I did, because it was a good time. And I was rigging some stuff up, look over, and Misty's float just gone. And this is like 5 minutes into the trip. So I walk over to her, and it was the funny part about it is, like, Misty, are you going to catch this fish, or are you going to wait for the next one? Good times. So, Shorty's Pay Lake is a really good place to catch the fish. There's a lot of different places like that. But the thing that has me amped up more than anything other than my boat being fixed is that Brandon Buckner took me to an absolute honey hole that he knows about down around in his area. I'm not going to give his honey holes away. I've had some people on my YouTube channel say, hey, I know where this lake's at, whatever. That's fine, guys. I'm not trying to keep it a huge secret, but these guys like going there and catching fish. So if you ask me where it's at, I'm not going to tell you just for the anonymity of their honey hole. It's a pretty good lake. Tiny little spot. Gravel ramp, as you saw in the video, but I managed to catch an absolute hammer. Probably one of the second or third biggest bass I've ever caught in my life. 5'11" on a scale. I'm figuring it's probably a little bigger than that. Probably, it wasn't 6 pound, but it was probably pretty close. I'm calling it 6 pound because, who cares? It's 6 pounder. We're going to call it 6 pounder. You catch a 5'11", that's close enough 6 pound for me. So let's take a look at that. I think it's, I don't know if I got a 3-ounce jig, a 3/8 ounce jig, or a 1/2 ounce.
It looks to me like they've cleaned this lake up a lot. Because there used to be trees hanging out over here. Down here. Since last time I was over here.
Huh.
That ain't good. That's my.
Oh. It's a decent one. Yeah, that's a good one. Coming up. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That.
That's a good one right there, boys. Yeah, baby. That's a 6 pounder, maybe. It's at least 5. Hammered that chunk crawl. Freaking mowed it. So there was 5'11" on a scale. Caught it on a 3.5-inch jackal chunk crawl in blue and black, and it never fails to happen this way. All my gears in my boat, other than my rods, I got all them out. Left my tackle in there because I didn't realize that my boat was going to be down for so long. Right now, we're working on 2 solid weeks of it being torn apart, but that's okay. All my gears there. I had 1 bag of jackal chunk crawls in blue and black here in my house. I rigged one up, and luck would have it that I forgot the bag laying on my spare room bed here, and I had 1. I caught the 2 bass that we caught there on that thing before it got riddled and went to Never Land. Tried to switch some other baits out and things, and it ended up being like I don't know. It was one of those deals. Would I have caught more fish on the bait? Who knows? It's kind of like one of those things. Hickey, photoshopped. Yeah, you're right. It was photoshopped, but I dropped some video on you, bud. So that's not right. I appreciate it. It was a good time. He took me down there. We had a great time. I caught 1 bass up until that point in the 2021 fishing season. The very first, probably about the first 20 casts I made in that lake, I caught about a pound largemouth on a jackal chunk crawl, again with a 3/16 ounce Eco Pro tungsten worm weight with a 4/0 Gamakatsu hook. 14-pound Sunline Sniper on a Poison Adrena 172 heavy with a Corrado K. But throw out, catch a 1-pounder. I'm like, hey, man, the monkey's off my back. That's number 2 for 2021. We fished another 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. And then I hook into large Marge there, and you saw it. It turned my season around. Not that I've had I've had a bad season, but it happens to us all, guys. It's called fishing and not catching for a reason. And you all know that we are in an extremely expensive sport. Speaking of expensive, not really expensive, but my buddy Brandon Klein from down in the Wheelersburg area finished second in the Toyota Series event down at Del Hollow there a couple weeks ago, or weekend before last. I want to give a shout out to that dude. He's an absolute hammer. Missed it. The guy who won the exact same tournament last year, Toyota Series. That guy must be a hammer on Del Hollow. But Brandon won $20,000. Guys, that's 2 anglers from my area, literally within 10 miles of my house, 15 miles. Brandon Klein, and you got you're going to have Chris Malone winning the Toyota Series championship. There's some absolute hammers that come from this area. And it's amazing to me that that stuff happens the way it does, because we live in literally the armpit of America for fishing. Like, I don't understand why there's so many good fishermen around here. I guess because you have to be. Like, if you can catch them here on the Ohio River, you can catch them anywhere. So maybe that's why it just breeds, a different quality of angler. I don't even put myself in the same boat as those guys. They can outfish me every day and twice on Sunday. I just like going out and having fun and fishing. But that's two really high caliber tournaments won by some people in this area, which is really, really, really cool. Lawrence County Bass Club, I guess, had their latest tournament at the Vesuvius, if you're around this area and grew up there. Out of Vesuvius, pretty good turnout, I guess. 5 or 6 people, 5 or 6 teams waiting fish, which is a good deal. And it's tournament season, guys. It's the way it's going. I'm going to get back into it. Fishing a co-angler series. I talked to Mark Hickey the other day. We might jump in a St. Clair BFL just to see what's up, and see if we can catch some fish. I fish as a co-angler just because it's way more simplistic to me, and it's always a good time. I get it and hop in somebody else's boat, and understand how they are fishing and learn. Red Fern, what's up, Fred? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining tonight. Guys, if you would, I'd appreciate it if you go down there and hit that share button. Share this thing out if you're on YouTube. Wait till later to share out my channel, whatever you need to do. If you're on Facebook, hit that share button, share it to your friends and family or whatever. I've hit a stalemate in my YouTube channel, and I need to try to bump this up. I have a 1,400 subscriber goal, and I'm going to check right now really quick to make sure that I am not lying to you. But right now I'm at 2,100 or 2,610 subscribers, which thank you out there for subscribing. I appreciate it. But right now I am at a stalemate. I normally am averaging about 75 subscribers a month. And right now I'm about 50 for the last 28 days, which is, it's about the same as usual. I usually get about 50 subs a month, which, guys, I'm not knocking it. I love it that I'm gaining new followers, and it's all good stuff. But it seems like I've hit this stalemate to where, like, unless I'm posting stuff strictly about Shimano reels and rods, like nobody cares, which is okay. But if you would go out there and share that out, maybe we can get some people in our area outside of our area that likes fishing that may have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet. You're going to be seeing a lot of content coming from me in the next few weeks. Headed to St. Clair on Friday night. We're going to fish Saturday, Sunday morning, and come home. I had a couple buddies that were up there this past weekend and caught a few. They weren't like hammering them by any means, but they caught enough to make me want to go. I lucked into a spot. Misty and I, about 4 years ago, pulled into a really shallow spot, 5 to 7 feet of water, and it was really, really early like this, and we absolutely smashed smallmouth on a KVD 1.5. It was almost pretty much every cast. But you guys know that are smallmouthers or that like fishing at St. Clair and Erie and stuff, it's almost weird to even pack a casting rod because they do a lot of, it's really tough to not finesse them. They usually bite finesse gear really, really well. A drop shot, shaky head, or Ned rigs. Ned rigs are absolutely phenomenal for smallmouth, especially at St. Clair. One rod that I actually just picked up, I guess it's not like a super new rod and reel to me, but I'm going to be coming out with a video about this rod and reel here. And it's really tough to get my camera to look at it here. This is a G Loomis IMX Pro 866C, which is a crankbait CBR, casting CBR, which is a casting crankbait rod. And this is a 866, which is 86 inches, 6 power. But the great thing about this, the different thing than most other crankbait rods, is that this is a DF, or a deep flex. And I can't show you live because there's no way I can get the camera out. But this thing bends way down in here. I'm talking like back to the last guide here. It's a huge parabolic bend. It's almost like this thing is a slow action rod. But it's not. It's rated as a moderate, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's rated as a moderate, but it feels more like a slow action. It gives fish more time to eat that crankbait. But another thing that I have paired this thing up with is, which is my first ever series. This is like 70 series Corrado. 70 series is a lot smaller. You can see I can palm this thing. Very, very small. One of the things that I had, like, I guess I was kind of leery about was, can you spool this thing? Because it doesn't hold as much line. Can you throw a big bait and spool it? Sure, you could. But you would have to be throwing like a 1 ounce sinker and just throwing it and ripping it. I threw that Rapala, the Ots Garage there. I threw that thing over the past weekend when I was with Brandon, and I tried to spool the reel. I tried to do it. It's got 12-pound Sunline FC crank on it, and there was no way. I wasn't even getting to the backer. There's plenty of line. It's a flipping and pitching style rig. Normally that's what people think about with a 70 series Corrado or 70 series reel, period. This is a smaller profile. Don't overlook it for crankbait rods and things that you're going to be casting too, especially if you're only putting 10 to 12 pound test line on it. If you go 15, 18, 20, sure, it's going to be less line. You're going to be more easily spooled, but that 10, 12 pound ratio there in the line, good. We'll do, Fred. You'll see a video one way or the other. Whether we smash them or we don't, you're going to see a video early next week about St. Clair. I'll let you know. Yep, Jacob, you're right. It is the ultimate for flipping and pitching. That's what it's designed for, but don't overlook it for crankbaits and other things like that. It's blown my mind, to be honest with you. It's only 70 series reel that I had, and they made a 50 series for a while. Like the Chronarch was in a 50 series. And it absolutely was a flipping and pitching reel. I mean, it was a close quarters, up close and personal. You were pitching in and bringing it out. There was no casting to it, because the 50 series, man, when you casted that thing, you could easily spool it because it was a tiny, looked like a little bobbin. But the 70 series is a nice happy medium between the 50 series and that 200 style that you normally see on the Corrados. Definitely good. Small topwater bait, pop R. I get it. That's a phenomenal deal. I am trying to I'm in the process of right now building the ultimate topwater rod, and right now I think I've found it. Drew Sadler, my Shimano rep, put me on I guess it's a well-known thing in the industry. He fishes a lot of them, but I have an IMX Pro, which is one of my favorite rod series out there, is the Loomis IMX Pro. But I'm throwing a 7 series crankbait rod, or a 7-power crankbait rod, as a topwater rod. I like the parabolic bend you get on the moderate action for the crankbait rod. And one of the things that you see there is that when normally, if you're like me, if you hear a fish blow up on a topwater bait, as a human nature, you have this knee-jerk reaction to set the hook. Well, when you do that, the rod still has time to load up and not rip that bait either away from the fish or out of the fish's mouth. So that 7 power on that crankbait rod IMX, I don't think it's maybe, it might be an 8. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. 857, 867, somewhere in there. It's definitely a 7-power IMX Pro crankbait rod. There's only one. Phenomenal topwater rod. Phenomenal. Anyway, if you guys are just now joining us, again, we are brought to you tonight by JB's Fish Sauce. Got a brand new product coming out with the On Another Line logo attached to it very soon. It's going to be a jelly of the Pinch O garlic. We've had a lot of time, and between Corey Weaver and I have looked and listened to some of the people that are using it, and the sprays work amazing. But some of the users, Jacob being one of them, I know likes to physically see the scent on their bait, so they know when to reapply. They know if they have scent on there and stuff like that. So now we have a jelly tub, which there's a lot of jellies already on there. Matter of fact, Kyler Beckman, one of the best crappie fishermen I know. I don't know him personally, but he's on the JB's Fish Sauce team. He fishes a national crappie trail. He uses a waxworm jelly that's his signature blend on YouTube or on jbsfishsauce.com, and it's a jelly. So you're gonna have some sustenance, some substance there. When you dip your bait in it, you're going to tell that there is some fish attractant and sauce on there. always get the comments too. Hey, I don't know if scents work. Well, here's my thing, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. This is why I hope that you guys are following me, because I try to keep it real for you guys. When I very first started using JB's fish sauce back in the day, I was skeptical, right? So I was like, I was kind of on the fence too. I was like, I don't think this really makes that much of a difference. But I do not. I can tell you right now that I don't catch any less fish than I used to. But some of the fish that I do catch, I know for a fact that it gives me an upper hand. For example, 2 years ago, something that really sticks out in my mind, I was fishing down a bank at Yatesville with the Lawrence County Bass Club, fishing by myself in my boat, fishing behind two people, fishing down the same bank in Greenbrier Creek, and I was literally within 200 yards of two other boats, and they fished the same bank. I threw up in that same bank, fishing right behind them with JB's fish sauce, and caught two keeper fish behind two boats. Was it JB's fish sauce? Who knows? But I tell you one thing, I'm not going fishing without it. But again, we do have the jelly coming out soon. I have some testers coming in the mail, taking them to St. Clair. We're going to do a little product testing. Oh yeah, K Flair, what's up, buddy? You got my message the other day. If you ever need to get a hold of me, I don't check Instagram much anymore. Instagram feels like a pay-to-play area. I've been trying to gain a following there. Really tough to do. I've had 2,098 followers or something on Instagram for the past like 3 years, and it never goes up, never goes down. Actually, always goes down, never goes up. So anyway, if you need to get a hold of me, have your dad call me, shoot me a message, whatever. I'll help you with whatever I can, but don't think I'm trying to ignore you. And Nate Witt, yep. So here's the thing, though. Nate and I have this kind of we have this love-hate relationship for each other when it comes to scents. Nate uses a sauce that shall be named on another line. I'm just kidding. I don't care. He uses Liquid Mayhem, loves it. I like JB's fish sauce. I love it. I think scents work. Fish what you like, fish what you can afford, and go fishing. That's the whole deal. But Nate, I'm with you. I think they work. They don't give me, and one of the things that I think it does more than anything is going to cover the human scent. One of the most things that stand out in my mind is that I'm a gardener. In the summertime, I like to garden. I have tomatoes, I have cucumbers. About 4 years ago, Kyle and I were fishing. We're planning on fishing Lawrence County Bass Club tournament at Deer Creek, which is up around Columbus. I think it's around Columbus, up around that way somewhere. Chillicothe, I think. Anyway, long story short, I canned a ton of hot peppers the day before. We made some like salsa and things, and I was handling habaneros, jalapenos, some fairly hot peppers on my scale. There's a lot of people that think jalapenos and habaneros are not hot. In my opinion, they're extremely hot. Didn't wear gloves, didn't do anything. Then took showers, obviously, when I got done gardening and canning and all that stuff. And then the next morning before I went fishing, took a shower again like I always do. Went to Deer Creek. Kyle caught like 18 bass that day, and I never caught a single fish. And I swear, I think it's because I had that capsaicin from those peppers still on my fingers. I know it was. It had to have been, because I feel like I can catch a fish every now and again, but if somebody puts 18 on me, there's something up. Dude, what's up, brother? Grease Monkey Bass Fishing in the house. What's going on, man? Guys, if you guys need a YouTube channel to go follow and you are a kayak fisherman or an ice fisherman in the wintertime, go check out Grease Monkey. This dude catches fish. Absolute awesome hammer. Does a lot of giveaways. Way more than I do. You have way more of a chance to win some stuff over there. I enter every one he has. He has some really cool stuff going on. Again, get over there and check him out. He's also part of the JB's Fish Sauce team. He'll tell you. You go over there and check out some of his videos. They just work. Anywho, back to the task at hand of fishing. Again, I caught the biggest fish of this year for sure. One of the top 3 fish in my entire life. My PB largemouth bass is 6.5 pounds. My PB smallmouth bass is 5.3 pounds coming from Lake St. Clair. I'm hoping to beat that this year. But So I caught one of the biggest bass the other day on a Jackal chunk crawl, 3.5 inch. They make a 4-inch version of it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I've never caught a fish on the 4-inch version. I think it's a little too big. It's almost like octopusy at that point. It's very good. This is Waller. What are you doing? This is a family show. You can't say that word on here. Yeah, man, we live, baby. YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and all around, and we're trying to make it happen. Anyway, appreciate you joining. But the Jackal Chunk Crawl, I think, is a very good bait. You should definitely check it out. They sell them up to the tackle box. Couple of things. The tackle box in South Point has received a lot of the Shimano products that they've ordered over the past year. If you're looking for a spinning reel or a casting reel or a rod, there's a really good chance that they actually have it now. They got something like, I don't know, man, they got like 35 or 40 of the new Ultegras, which you guys saw that on the last live. $159 price point for something that's similar to the old CI4 Stratic, long stroke spool. The only thing it doesn't have is the MGL rotor like the Stratic CI4 Plus had. They got a lot of those. They have some Vanfords in stock. They have Vanford 500, 1000, 2500, and 3000s in stock as of last week. They may have sold out. I'm not sure, but they did have some of those in stock. They got a couple Stellas if you're looking for the cream of the crop, creme de la creme of spinning reels. They got those up there. They have a ton of stuff. Those of you guys that are cat fishermen out there, or maybe Abu fans, and you like those big round reels, they got a ton of the Shimano or the Abu Garcia 6500C 100th anniversary reels up there that I know a lot of you guys pay laking out there. But I've done a lot of research about that, just talking to people and trying to figure out why Abu 6500 rockets and things are way more expensive than they used to be. Like that 100th anniversary is $249. Well, it turns out they're doing a really cool thing, a really good marketing scheme through Abu, is that they only make so many of those reels. For example, like I think the blueberry ones are like super, super outrageous because people love them. Like, it's just a collar. It's just the scheme. People pay out the wazoo. But anyway, back to the task at hand there at the tackle box. They have all that stuff. They have stock for all your pay laking and catfish gear needs, as well as pretty much any reel or rod that you could possibly ever want. If they don't have it, they can get it. I guarantee it. Greg makes some of the best spinner baits and other baits on the planet. You're not going to be disappointed. Zebco all the way. You know what? I've said it before, man. I can't knock Zebco. Nobody can knock Zebco. You know why? Because we all used them. Zebco's like the gateway drug to the fishing world. What's up, Corey? Yeah, well, Corey couldn't find a lot of the reels that he wanted this year because of the low, quantity of them in the United States. So I hooked him up at the tackle box, got the reels and stuff that he needed, and he is off and fishing. I've been seeing him catch some hammers too. Again, we're leaving Friday, going to St. Clair, hoping to go up there and smash a few. St. Clair is very, very tough this time of year because of the weather. It's supposed to be 60 degrees, which I'm okay with. I have a brand new set of Stormer bibs that I am in love with. God, they're super nice. I like my 100-mile-per-hour suit from Bass Pro. I really like it a lot. I have the parka and the bibs. My advice to you guys, if you guys are looking into buying something that is weather resistant or weatherproof, there's nothing really weather or waterproof. We'll say weather resistant or water resistant. 100-mile-per-hour suit from Bass Pro is an absolute game changer for me when I bought it. And then I started getting into the Stormer gear side of things, and I like them equally. And I have, again, the actual neoprene suit from Stormer. So it has a place, it has a deal where it has a spot that it works best. Cold weather, Stormer all the way, no doubt. They also make a light weather gear that I really like too. It's called the Aero suit, I believe. Really good bibs. But one thing that I will give you a little bit of advice for, if you're looking to buy a rain suit or something to keep you dry, be sure, I don't care what kind you buy, what brand you go with. I'm not expecting you to go out and buy Storm or Bass Pro, but whatever you do, buy some bibs. Don't buy pants and expect to get and stay dry. You're not going to happen. Buy some bibs. You can wear those bibs in colder weather. If the wind's blowing or stuff, it keeps the wind off you and keeps you warm throughout the day too. And you can I wear them a lot of times when it's not even raining. Look at this, Brandon, the Hammer Klein in here, just talking about you. But I don't know if you're in here or not. No, this is not a Bush Light. This is not a Bush Latte. This is a I think it's pronounced LaCroix, but if you're from this area, it's LaCroix, right? This is a Cerise Limon. I don't know. I'd have to spell that out for you, man, because I know you can't read it. But this is a sparkling water, lime and cherry, which doesn't even sound good, but phenomenal. Anyway, so back to this. There's an awful lot of people that scrunch their face up when I show them that I drink sparkling water. Like, oh my God, how do you drink that stuff? There's somebody out there that freaking drinks it. You know why? Because when I go to try to buy it, it's gone. Everything is sold out. Stupid. Larry Slack, what's up, buddy? Again, I have your glasses on Thursday. So, well, as long as USPS shows up. Are you French? No, I'm not. I consider myself an almost American because I speak terrible English. I have that hillbilly accent that Appalachia. It's pronounced Appalachia. I can say that. It's not it's not any other word. It's Appalachia. That's where we're from. I am not French. It must be French. Fragile. Yeah. See where that comes in. Anyway, back to fishing. Lake St. Clair, as I was mentioning again, can be a little tough this time of year to find fish. But it's not about finding a fish, because when you find the fish this time of year, they're usually watered up, and they're usually using any kind of cover they can. If you've never been to Lake St. Clair, one of the things I'll tell you is when you get there, it's nothing but a big giant bowl. Literally from 0 feet at the bank to the middle and the shipping channel, which is about 25 to 40 foot in certain areas. And then going over into Canadian water, it does the exact same thing, unless you get over on the Bell's Hump in the Canadian water, and you're going to have a little bit shallower water there. But the biggest thing is that if you're going to go to Lake St. Clair like we are and be idiots about it, make sure you check the weather before you drive 6 hours from my house to get there to fish, because we did this in November. I told you guys that story. We got catfished by a dude. He's like, oh, yeah, we'll go out and take you fishing. You got to come in November if you really want to catch some absolute giants. So last year I had a goal to catch a 6-pound smallmouth. So I took it hook, line, and sinker. The guy catfished Kyle never showed up. We went there, fished for full day and a half, and caught one smallmouth. And it was 23 degrees when we woke up one morning. Absolutely frigid. But usually, that's the only time in my life I've ever been to St. Clair where I've never caught a fish. I fished 2 days, never caught a single fish that mounted anything. I caught some giant, I'm talking absolute hammer perch. A couple walleye, but no smallmouth. So I'm headed up. We're going up, trying to find it. Check the weather. If the wind's blowing from the north on Lake St. Clair, just forget it. And unless you just absolutely want to get beat to death, or you want to get wet, or you're going to be fishing the coves or the inlets for largemouth, if the wind is blowing directly out of the north, you might as well forget it, because it's going to blow 5-footers, and it is going to be rough. St. Clair is fire, dude. My absolute favorite fishery on the planet as of right now. I'll let you know if I find another one. St. Clair is on the bucket list, Brian. It is an absolute. It should be on everybody's bucket list. And you too. You're in the area, but it's 6 hours tops from here. There are some sketchy places to stay in Detroit or around St. Clair shores, guys. If you go up there and you want some recommendations of where to stay and things, shoot me a message on Facebook on Another Line. Comment on one of the channel videos or whatever. I will do my best to tell you the places to go and places to stay away from. We are getting into a place where we as anglers need to band together and stay together and try to keep everybody safe. Just last weekend at the Sabine River, they cut off something like 15 catalytic converters from the pros trucks. Like John Cox pulled up and G-Man was doing a video with him, and it sounded like he was running a derby car with a brand new Tundra. They cut the converter off from it, and it's crazy to me, man. Like, I get why they want to cut them off, because they're worth a ton of money. They're worth, like, you can get like, you know, $800 to $1,000 in scrap out of them. But these people that are buying these things, these scrap people, these people are part of the crooks. They're part of the ring, man. They should never, ever, if you are a scrap manual or scrap metal buyer or supplier, there should be a law against buying catalytic converters, unless you're the people manufacturing and have some crazy, you know, I don't know, I guess, whatever. But I think there should be a law against that. It's like we're creating this giant thievery ring. It's almost like pawn shops in Kentucky. It's crazy. Bradley, that's cool, dude. Are you going? I guess you're going to St. Clair too. If you are, I'll get a hold of you on the way up there. I'll shoot you a message to see what's going on. My buddies found some fish. The biggest fish he said he caught was about 14 foot of water, but it was like one. They fished in that 14-foot area for a while. Didn't find. They caught one almost 6 pounds. It was the right size, the right one, but they only caught one. Found most of the fish in 6 to 8 foot of water, and they couldn't get them to bite anything finessey. They were biting, according to them, crankbaits and swim baits, which I like to say this time of year. But normally a Ned rig, something like that, you know, actually smashes them. And you know, it's. I'll get with you. Hopefully you guys smash them. We can put our heads together and find some stuff out. Again, I did find a pretty hammer hole up there a couple years ago that was like 4 to 5 foot. There's one rock pile, and it stayed stacked all day. Misty and I drift across to the same rock pile, throwing 1.5 crankbaits over it for an entire 7-hour day, and caught fish after fish after fish. We caught over 60 fish off of one rock pile, one drift in 8 hours. It was stupid. Like, it seemed like every cast we were catching them, 4 foot of water, just digging the bottom up with crankbaits and absolutely smashing them. Let's see here. Sorry, I missed the question here. Shimano X-Age any good? Yes, I think they're very good rods. Misty owns 2 of them because I bought them for her when they come out. In that $100 price point range, X-Age, I would probably, I think, in my opinion, I would step up to. Man, I'm gonna butcher the name of it here, so I'm gonna check it out. What is the name of that? Celis is a decent rod. It's a $50 rod, but the X-Age is a really good rod. But I think I would probably, in the $100 price point where those X-Age used to be, I would probably step up into the SLX line, which is same $100 price point. I own them. I like them. I like the cork that's on the X-Age. I just feel like that they have less backbone than any rod that I've ever fished for Shimano. And I only have 2 crankbait rods. I have 2 spinning rods, and they're Misties. I have I want to think, 6'10" and a 7 foot medium, both of them. And I like them. They're really good rods. They feel good. I like the reel seat. I like the cork. But in my opinion, I'd pick up an SLX over the X-Age. All right, Bradley. I'll get with you, man. Like I said, me and Kyle, are you gonna be? I guess you're gonna be there all weekend. If you are, we'll get together, get some grub or something later in the evening. I don't know where me and Kyle are staying at. We normally stay up towards Metro Park, up that way, because we always get a hotel for the couple days that we're there. But get a hold of me when we're up there. I'll show you a really cool place that you could stay if you go up there for a few days. It's a camper right on the water, and you get a boat slip and stuff. But we'll get together, share some war stories and stuff when you're up there. What's up, JR? JR says the X-Age is better than the SLX. So again, it's all about personal preference. So take this for what it is. I think that, in my opinion, I like the SLX better. I normally am a cork guy. I like cork rods better than EVA foam. SLX, you're getting EVA foam, whereas the X-Age, you're getting cork handles. The deal is with that is that I like a more backbone in a rod. For some reason, I hate a buggy whip. This 866 crankbait rod I have right here feels like a buggy whip. You could throw a crankbait a mile with it. It does what it's advertised to do. It's a moderate action. However, if I'm fishing on any other thing on a crankbait, I like to have a little more backbone, and I feel like I get that in the SLX. Laugh it up, bro. By the way, guys, I like to throw everybody a bone when I can. If you guys are looking for a cardiologist or a pulmonologist in the area, check out J.R. White and his wife. They're both doctors in the area through King's Daughters Medical Center in Ashland, Kentucky. Check them out again. J.R. White, cardiologist extraordinaire. First time I met the guy, we went fishing, asked him if he was a cardiologist. He said, yep. I said, good. So that means when I catch this big hammer out here and I have a heart attack, I'm covered, right? For some reason, I didn't think that was funny. Anywho, St. Clair, can't wait. Caught one of the biggest bass of my life ever last weekend. Amazing time. Got a lot of stuff planned in the next few months coming up. Again, taking Dad and my buddy Dusty up north to do some smallmouthing. Again, if you guys are just now joining and wondering about my boat, I did get it. Again, shout out to State Farm. They covered my boat, got me back on the water very soon. The brand new lower unit's in transit from wherever it's at. It was in stock, so it will be in here, I would say, probably maybe tomorrow, Thursday. Take them a few hours to get it put together, and I should be back on the water next weekend. I will be, weekend after next, because I'm going to St. Clair. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the river. I've been seeing a lot of people from these Wednesday night tournaments that they're having. People are catching some fish on the river, man. I am digging it. I can't wait to get out there for you guys, do some running, see how my boat's going. I do know one thing though. When I get my boat back, like it's going to be like it's going to get babied for a while, man. Like not having a boat sucks. It sucks. It's terrible. Again, first off, OALL20 on another or jbsfishsauce.com. Promo code OALL20 will get you 20% off your order. Yeah, dude, that's my all-time favorite fishing stories there. Back when I was a kid, I used to go to Lake Erie with my dad and all of his buddies, and it started out as a Moose Lodge walleye fishing trip. They would go, the Moose Lodge would help out these anglers, my dad and several other people that are affiliated with the Moose Lodge. They would go on a guided trip or a chartered trip in Lake Erie and catch walleye and bring it back, and they would have a big giant fish fry for the members of the Moose Lodge. And I was lucky enough to be able to start going on those trips as a 10-year-old kid, going with a bunch of grown adult men that are into drinking beers and having a good time, which probably wasn't the best place for me to be as a 10-year-old. But I tell you what, it's some of the most fun times that I'm glad I got to take part in, and I would never trade it for anything. My idea of a good fishing trip, especially like that, is what you're talking about. I want to get out with my buddies. I want to go out and try to catch them. I hope we all absolutely smash them, come back and talk about how we caught them and try to build a game plan and make it happen. So I need to get with you, man, because here's the thing. I need to figure out what kind of yak I can afford to get into without breaking the bank. You know, I'm paying on my boat right now as far as I still owe some money on my Stratus. I would love to have a kayak because of the fact of a matter like this. One, if my boat's down, I can grab the yak and I can go. But right now, man, like it's so crazy that the yak world is so expensive, man. Like I feel like to get at something that I really like to fish out of. My biggest thing is I hate the idea of paddling and fishing at the same time. So I'd have to have something that's got a paddle drive, something like a Mirage drive or something like that. And you're talking $2,000 for a kayak like that, which is crazy. But I need both hands when I'm fishing. I don't want to like have to worry about my paddle falling in. I know there's leashes and things, but I hate having those on my lap and having to fish too. I like the ability with my feet to keep me oriented where I need to go. So I need to get with you, figure out what the bang for my buck is. No, that's what we're just talking about, Kev. I've done some kayak fishing before, and it is from a set-in kayak in the Little Sandy River, and it was absolutely the most brutal fishing I've ever done in my life. One, for the fact that I felt like that I was doing a solid crunch the whole time because of the way I was setting in a kayak instead of a set-on kayak, which I feel like is better for a fishing mentality there. But no, I wish I could tell you some stories about that. Eric Pleasance, what's up, buddy? Greatest fisherman this side of the Ohio River. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very, very much. Will do, man. I'll get a hold of you. We'll get something out. Yep. I agree with that, Fred. It's one of those things. It's a camaraderie about it. It's the brotherhood of it. And it's not even about, like it's the reminiscing, telling jokes and telling stories about what happened last year on this trip. And it's something that I got to experience with my dad and his buddies, but I think I was too young to understand. So I need to get with a bunch of my buddies, and we need to make this thing happen as soon as possible. What do you guys think about the rod socks? Right now I'm using I don't know what they're called. I guess they're professional versions of the rod glove. I like them a lot. They're neoprene. But does anybody have any like great rod socks out there, especially for spinning reels or spinning rods? Sorry. I have a lot of the rod glove I was affiliated with for a little while, and I like them a lot. But the Pro Series that are neoprene are just kind of heavy, and my hooks get stuck in them. I thought about building my own and creating a YouTube video about it, but I'm gonna have like $6 to $8 a piece in them building my own when I could buy something already made and work on it that way. No for me and rod socks. And that's another thing. Some people like them, some people hate them. Me, traveling as a co-angler for pretty much any fishing trip that I do, especially tournaments, I have to have rod socks. The Calcoast Rod Mule is absolutely, hands down, the best invention for a co-angler that ever existed when it comes to packing gear. You can pack anywhere from 3 to, I've had 13 rods in a rod sock just to see if you can make it happen, and you can. Bunches them all together, and if you have that and you don't have rod socks, you are missing out. It creates such a nice package, and you can carry all of your rods at the same time. What I do as a co-angler, I pack way more rods than I'm ever going to need. I don't take all 13 rods to the same boat or the boater's boat with me. I figure out what we're going to be doing. I rig up some rods, and I take just what I need with me. But it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I have not heard of, I've not tried TRC. I've seen a lot of people talk about them. Matter of fact, Tristan Cobb down around Lexington or down around Cumberland there, he's big into them and likes them a lot. Eric Pleasant, serious question. How do you get sponsors? Do they reach out to you, or do you reach out to them? Well, that is an excellent question, man. Very good question, something to deal with. And to kind of, to preface this, how I got sponsors initially was the wrong way. I did a lot of cold emailing companies that have things that I believe in, i.e. Shimano, things like this. I was cold emailing these people. They don't know who I am. And guys, trust me, the area and the market is flooded with people with their hand out, including me. I was that guy. I was that guy out there saying, here's what I can offer you. Give me free stuff. And it worked out to an extent. I've built some relationships with some great companies doing that, but to build quality relationships with companies is something that you need to work on, no matter if it's fishing or I know you're going to college, you're going to be an announcer someday. If you want to build relationships for groups of people or for companies that are affiliated with things that you enjoy, is use their products initially and build a relationship with that company so they start knowing who you are. The sponsorships will come at that point. There's so many people. Again, I'm not knocking anybody because I was that guy. I was cold emailing. What I mean by cold emailing, I was just sending out this email to 50 companies a day. When I first got into the sponsorship world, I look back on it and I'm like, man, what was I doing? Like, I was one of those people. I was that guy. I was that girl. I was that person. Because they get hundreds, if not thousands, of these emails a day, guys. They're especially in the fishing world, because the market is flooded with people that want free stuff. And I get it. I get it. I was that person. But some of my sponsorships have come the way of them reaching out to me. For example, I'm affiliated with a company called the Better Boat. Better Boat sells boat cleaning products, and I think they are phenomenal. But one of the things that I've joked about several times in my top producing video still to this day, right now, matter of fact, I'm going to check to make sure that's true. Sure enough, I've got 2,954 views on the hands down best way to clean a boat carpet, literally, video in the past 28 days. It is absolutely my number one top video that's out there that's being watched. It's number one in SEO for Google search. If you search for how to clean boat carpet, my mug shows up there first time. Jonathan Spector from the Better Boat Company reached out to me. Hey, like what you're doing. Would you be interested in trying some of our products? Sure. They sent it to me. Absolutely fell in love with them, and here we are today. I'm still using them. Most of the stuff that I'm affiliated with came from the way of cold emailing people, and at no point did they ever say, here's free stuff. It's always a discount, right? Which is okay. That's how you should start. Build a relationship, get your foot in the door with these people, send them an email, say, hey, my name is Eric Plessens. I would like to become a part of your team. I like what you're doing. I love your products. I've been using them for the years. And just, build a relationship. Ask them, how can I become a better part or a bigger part of your company? How can I help you help me? And 100% of the time, they're going to find that more interesting than you just saying, here's what I can do for you. Give me free stuff. But if I was going to give you a little bit of advice, no matter what you're doing, whether it's in the fishing world or any other world, is build a relationship with the companies and the products that you believe in and you're using now. Don't just cold email or cold call people straight out of the blue. Build a relationship first. The 100% sponsorships of free products will come. 6 Cents rod socks are now, so I'll check them out. Dude, 6 Cents makes some good stuff. Yeah, I agree with that, Greg, 100%. And that's one of the things. Another thing that as a co-angler, the biggest thing that I have trouble finding is how to keep my hooks from getting tangled up, even in the hook or even in the rod socks. Calco's Fishing makes the bait sack or whatever, which is a really good idea. I love it. They've done a really good job, but they're just too daggone big, man. They're giant. Like, you can put, like, the large one, you can put an A-rig in, which is great. But even the small ones, I feel like, are massive. Like, they need a really small version of that to slip over a crankbait and attach to your rod. But they're just way too big, I feel. Which, by the way, guys, brings me to this. This is not my tip. This is something that I saw. Who was it? Edwin Evers the other day. I thought it was genius, man. Talking about how to keep his A-rig more compact on his rod when it was stored. He took the little plastic ring that's underneath the cap of a water bottle, that little teeny tiny thing that actually is perforated that keeps the cap on until you crack the seal. He took that thing off from it and slid it down over his rod, over top of the entire A-rig, and it held it in place. And I was like, dude, that is genius. Like, it is amazing. Yeah, so you're right. And that's another thing. If you're, especially in the fishing world, which I know that you probably like to fish, but not as big as I am. But if you're talking about that, you need a resume that's generated or that's around what you're trying to do. For example, again, I know you're trying to be an announcer, a sports announcer, or whatever. You need a resume that shows who you are at that given time. And we talked about it in class before that a resume should be a living document. As you live, it should change and it should adapt. But that is a very good point. Thank you. Another 6 cents. I'll have to check those out. I'll check that out, Greg. That's one of the biggest things right now, even with the rod socks, that when I put those on my bait or over my rods, that they still get tangled up, especially when you have something like that Rapala crankbait there that's just the Balsa series. They have massive hooks on them. They just get stuck everywhere. So, Eric, I hope that helps you out about the sponsorship question, man. Again, another thing while we're on that topic is that companies want to know how you can benefit them as a person for their investment in you, because they're making an investment in you by giving you, even a discount. That's money that would be out of their pocket for a full sale or a full profit if they sold that outright. And the best thing to do is to create something that, not a gimmick, but that sets you apart. For example, my thing here is I do a live fishing show. I have a YouTube channel. I have TikTok. I'm very active on social media. I try to put people's faces on the products, or let people see the products that I use, and that's how I've created a really nice partnership. Another thing is networking. Find people in the area, in the genre of what you want to do. Make friends with them. People know other people who know other people, and eventually you'll work your way in there. What's my favorite technique to fish? Very simplistic for me, man. Really tough for me to tell, but if I was going to choose one technique to fish the rest of my life at any given moment, would be a Texas rig. My favorite way to fish is topwater. I love seeing it blow up, a popper, buzz bait, not so much a plopper. I'm going to make myself catch a fish on a plopper this year just so I stop bad mouthing it. But my absolute favorite way is topwater. But the bait that I would throw 100% of the time, no matter what conditions that it is a Texas rig, something with a 3/16 ounce tungsten weight. Now it used to be a lead weight. I do see the difference in tungsten and lead. You do get more sensitivity out of tungsten because it is a lot more dense. But a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce tungsten worm weight, 4/0 Gamakatsu offset shank worm hook. And probably if I were going to choose one bait to throw the rest of my life, would probably be between a Jackal chunk crawl and a Zoom speed crawl in both green pumpkin. Phenomenal bait. That's my absolute favorite to fish. Absolute least favorite way to fish, I guess I would say I like a drop shot, but it catches fish, and I know it does. I've got some hammers on it. But if I have, no, I know what my least favorite way to fish, and it catches fish too. I hate fishing a weightless wacky rig. I have to have weight on it, either a split shot or a tungsten head Jackal wacky rig head. It has to have weight on it. It has to have a fall rate for me. I don't have the patience to fish a weightless wacky rig, but they catch fish. All right, guys, we're about 57 minutes into this episode. We got 14 people out there watching with us. I appreciate you guys joining in. If you guys want to know or answer any questions, or me to answer any questions, drop them in the comments below. A couple of things. Did get a new package of the Power Pro, and this is not new by any means, but it is new to me. I just picked it up the other day. This is the Power Pro Super Slick V2. I don't know that you guys are going to be able to see that. It's kind of blurry back there. But this is the moonshine collar. You can see very, very vibrant yellow. This lure lock hat, basically the same exact collar. The cool thing about the moonshine collar from this product here is that this product for the Power Pro Moonshine actually glows under a spot or a UV light, a black light. So if you're out there night fishing and you have UV light, those things light up like an absolute lightsaber. But anyway, guys, we're going to hop off here in just a second. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. We, again, like to keep these episodes to about an hour in length. If you guys would share my videos out, try to get some more people to subscribe to my channel. Again, I have a 14. Let's see. Let me make sure. Let me go back to my dashboard here. I have a 4,000 subscriber goal. Right now, I am missing it terribly. 2,614, 53 in the last 28 days. I'll take it. I need to boost that to about 120 a month. If you guys don't care to share my content, try to get some people to subscribe, I would appreciate it. And Eric, I would love to watch an ice fishing video. Dude, go over and check out Grease Monkey Bass Fishing, GMBF, on It's Grease Monkey Bass Fishing on YouTube. My buddy Dewey Lure has a bunch of fishing for you. If he catches a lot of fish, especially this past winter, does a lot of ice fishing. You'll never see one from me unless I travel out that way or somewhere, because we don't get ice here. Fred, I appreciate it, buddy. I will let you guys know how we do. Again, there will be a video one way or the other knocking out the trip, showing what's going on, probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. I do have a video coming out over the next day or so talking about this Deep Flex 866C Deep Flex crankbait rod, IMX Pro with a 70 series. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you the flex and things of that. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. No, man, I didn't. I do have my song on the intro, but I need to do that, I guess. Maybe I break out the guitar and sing you guys a little ditty for what's up. Yeah, so, man, a baby brush hog is a phenomenal rig, especially Texas rig. I don't know if you know this or not. Not a lot of people do, because it's a less known bait, because it's actually fairly new. Zoom come out with a mid-sized brush hog. Ooh-wee. This time of year, baby. Like, it is like, I felt like, so they had the tiny brush hog. It was like this big. And then they had the baby brush hog. It's like 4 inches, 3.5, somewhere in there. And it catches fish. And then it went to the actual brush hog. And, dude, I felt like the brush hog was like triple the size of the baby brush hog. I was like, they're missing the boat here, man. There needs to be one in the center. Yep, they knew it better than I do, and they come out with a mid-sized brush hog. Fire. Good stuff. Anyway, guys, we're at that hour mark. I'd appreciate it if you share my videos, get it out there. Hopefully, we can get some more subscribers, and we'll be posting videos about every other day for the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 months, trying to hit that 4,000 subscriber mark. And I appreciate you guys sticking around with this episode of On Another Line. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.